Hello, and welcome to another episode of Glorious Life on Wheels. I don't even know how to begin this video. I got a telephone call yesterday that just was so disappointing and left me so disgusted that I'm still trying to process it. But as a result of that telephone call, I took down my last video, which was a beautiful tour of a lovely tiny home community. And I also canceled the video that was scheduled to air today. The video that was scheduled to air today was a tour of a tiny home I was standing in when I interviewed the manager of that community. That tiny home is for sale, and it was just amazing, and I thought it would be so interesting for all of you to see. But come on, and I'm going to share with you why I took down both videos and why I'm so disheartened by the need to do so. The video that I aired of the tiny house community had over 10,000 views, and it was climbing. It was going to get tens of thousands of views. But apparently some of the people who saw it were of a certain ilk that are not representative of my channel. The call that I got yesterday was from the manager of the tiny home community. He is the individual who I interviewed about the community and who shared all the particulars about the community. He is also the individual who I interviewed in a tiny house that was for sale by the community, a one-bedroom unit, and he took me on a tour of it. She was a focal point of the interview that I had there and of the video that I was going to air today. And he shared with me that a couple of different sets of people came out to the tiny house community. Now, he got a lot of calls about the community because of the video, but these individuals apparently saw the video and decided to come out to the tiny house community. And what ensued afterwards was very disturbing. In one instance, according to the manager, there was a man who got into some kind of disagreement with the manager. He came up and, according to the manager, was trying to open the gate to get into the community. And the manager relayed to me that he told him, "You're certainly not going to get in like that. You've got to have a key to get into this community." And then he asked him if he was his 4:00 appointment, because he had an appointment. Someone had called to see the community. And according to the manager, the person went off on him, was very intimidating, decided that he was not a heterosexual, and started calling him terrible names, derogatory names based on what he thought his preference was and who his partner might be, or what kind of partner he might have. I'm limited as to what I can say because YouTube is so restrictive, but I think you get my gist. But he was calling him all kinds of names and telling him what he could do and to his body part. And I mean, just some horrible things. And he said he was actually in fear for his safety, the manager told me. And he said the man approached him and he was backing up and the guy was backing him up, and he was trying to decide, should he go into the office or should he get into his vehicle? So finally he got into his vehicle, but the guy was approaching him and he was in fear for his safety. Fortunately, there are cameras. He was able to get video footage of the man. So they have his face, the vehicle, the license plate, and it's being turned into law enforcement, and they're asking for it to be investigated as a hate incident. So this person has been documented and recorded and will be on file with police, who I'm sure will do a thorough investigation. But I was just so upset when I heard about this. And the idea that someone saw something on my video that prompted them to go out and engage in this kind of behavior with someone who had never met them, had never done anything to them, and they knew nothing about. And I just don't understand that kind of hatred. I just don't. But there was, believe it or not, a second incident. This incident involved, as I recall from the telephone conversation, 2 women. Again, their vehicle was recorded, their photos were taken, or their images, and their license plate was documented. But apparently they were blocking the gate, the entrance to the gate, from what the manager told me, and he was not able to get in. So he asked them if they could move back. And that, according to him, started a just horrible rant from one of the women, calling him all kinds of things, saying just some nasty things. And both of these individuals in both situations said they had found out about this community from my video. And that was just heartbreaking to me, that someone from a video of mine that they saw would go out and do this. But then one of the women, according to the manager, told him that you need to find Jesus, or you need Jesus, something to that effect. And I remember when he told me that, he did say that, he said back to her, I'm not the one who needs to find Jesus. You're the one who needs Jesus. But anyhow, it just got me thinking how so many people these days are so filled with hate, and they're using their so-called Christianity to justify their hatred, the hatred in their heart. And I just have to say, I don't think anyone like that ever had an encounter with Christ. I don't think they even understand the heart of Christ. And I'm not going to say whether someone's a Christian or not a Christian, but I'm going to say that you have a lot of people spouting off things about what Christianity is, and they in no way reflect the love of Christ. They in no way reflect the teachings of Christ or what he taught. I remember a passage in the Bible where the Sadducees or Pharisees were going to stone a woman, and Christ told them, the one who has no sin cast the first stone. And they all dropped their stones and went their ways. And when Christ asked the woman, where are your accusers? She said, they've all left. And I would submit that there are a lot of people out there casting stones that need to drop their stones and look in the mirror. But the manager asked me to pull the video because he did not want to be on camera. And he also asked me, because I told him I have another video that he was giving the tour. He gave the tour of the 1-bedroom unit that was for sale at the property. And he said, no, please, if you can dub in and take me out. But you guys know my technical skills. I can't do all this dubbing and all that. So both of these beautiful videos that I spent hours on, I didn't have to take them down, but morally, I felt I had to take them down. Because if someone feels unsafe, I'm not going to leave videos up that leave someone very uncomfortable. And I don't think I've ever taken a video down that someone's asked me to before, because I've never had anyone do that. But in this case, I was team manager, and I felt the need to take these videos down. So I just wanted to let you know the video I promised you to show of the 1-bedroom that is a 400 square foot tiny house. I will not be doing that tour. I do have a tiny house tour coming up, but it's not with that manager and it's not of that unit. But I just want to say, you know, so many people these days feel emboldened to be hateful and to spew hate and to tell people how they need to live and how they're required to live. We don't have the right to tell someone else how they should live. We do have the right, I believe, if someone is harming someone, especially a child, a vulnerable person like a senior or someone who's handicapped, I do believe we have the right and the duty to speak up and stop it. But we don't have the right to tell someone that because the way they live doesn't coincide with what we think is right, that they have to stop living that way. What happened to just minding your own business and living and let other people live as long as they're not harming you or anyone else? But yeah, I was pretty disgusted, and I just want to say this channel does not encourage hate of any kind. Now, I may sometimes go on a rant if someone does something that I think is wrong, but I don't want to encourage hate. And in fact, if I think a video that I put up is getting some results that were different from what I expected or wanted, I have taken down some videos that I thought got a little bit out of hand. In this case, this was just pure hatred. I don't agree with what happened. I am devastated by what happened. And anyone who wants to spew hatred is not someone that I want to be a part of my channel or my Globee family, because that's not what we're about. But enough said. Like I stated, I will have a tour hopefully airing tomorrow. I'm just so discombobulated by all this. I had to take a break. But I'm going to try and get a tour up tomorrow of a beautiful tiny house that actually I'm going to see about having someone build a couple using that floor plan, because I just loved it. But hopefully it'll air tomorrow. We'll see. I just need to take a little pause. But I love each and every one of you. And see if you can't just spread joy, not hate and discontent. And I will see you down the road, and I hope each of your journeys are filled with joy and blessings and love, not hate. Till the next time, bye-bye.